What's up, everybody? I am Kevin Iole, UFC 283, January 21st in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It is going to be a great card, two title fights at the top. And in the main event, I think it's going to be a whale of a fight. Just look at the record of the two guys. Glover Teixeira, the former champion, he's always in great fights. And my guest right now, Jamahal Hill. A lot of people might not have expected him to be fighting in this fight, but through a great chain of circumstances, here he is. Jamahal, one of the most exciting fighters in the world. Jamahal, welcome. Congratulations on getting this big fight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a great opportunity. It was unexpected, but I'm always ready. I'm always ready to fight. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love a comeback story, right? And you're 11-1, but that one is the one I want to start with because I think there's something really amazing happened. You lose to Paul Craig in June of 2021. You come back and you come back better than you ever were before. 3 consecutive knockouts, 2 of them in the first round against probably the 3 best opponents you had. How do you do that? And sort of, obviously that has a mental, you have to be strong mentally in that. But what was the key to the comeback after the only loss of your career?
Simple. Simple. I understood what I did wrong. And the minute it happened, I got outside myself. All I have to do is just be myself. Fight my game. I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. I'm not obligated to do anything but just go and do me.
That, when it looked like a really bad injury that night. I mean, it looked like your elbow, it was dislocated, right? Was that what it turned out to be? How long did it take you before you felt comfortable doing what you needed to do in a fight? Like after that, were you A, that night worried that it would be a long time, and then B, how long did it take for you to have to be out?
I mean, that night, the night when it happened, yeah, I was worried because you don't know the extent of the injury, you don't know exactly what you're looking at. But I was back in the gym maybe 5 weeks later. I was working out then. I actually took the Crute fight. At first, it was supposed to be the beginning of October.
Yeah.
But after a while of training and things like that, I had like a little setback or whatever. So I felt like I needed more time, and it came up with the December 4th date, and I was pretty comfortable with that.
And of course, you performed in that fight, first round KO. That was amazing.
It was good timing, good setup, and everything. So it worked out well.
You were 11-1, should be 12-1. You had a knockout that got overturned. The rules were changed not long after that. So you should be 12-1. So we'll give you that extra knockout. At least on my record, you get
I counted too. Hey, I still counted. So
exactly. But you sit here now, you could become the first Contender Series fighter to win a championship. There have been a couple that fought for the title. You could be the first to win the championship. What did that series do for you? I mean, did it just give you a chance, or did it, build your confidence? Was there anything that the Contender Series did that helped you get to this point right now?
It gave me the opportunity to put me where I felt like I belonged. That I didn't need to prove anything. I felt like I belonged in the UFC a while ago. So it just gave me the stage to show myself.
Were you good at this right away? Because I mean, you're just past 5 years overall as an MMA fighter, right? I mean, right? I mean, so how did you start?
2010.
Oh, because I saw your first pro fight was 2017.
Yeah, that was when I went pro, but I have been fighting amateur. I have like 13 amateur fights.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had an amateur career before. His only thing was in Michigan, amateur wasn't sanctioned. So we did a lot of like fights at like just underground venues, things like that. And before they got organized, and didn't really get organized till like about 2016.
So you were probably a dangerous guy then going in those early fights. You fought in knockout promotions in Grand Rapids. People, hey, I got this guy 0-0, 1-0, right? But they didn't know this guy was fighting for a while.
Yeah, the people that have been around Michigan for a while, Michigan MMA scene for a while, they know who I am. But yeah, it was like people that forgot. So it was just me reintroducing myself.
Yeah, how long after you started?
I've been the king around these parts.
Yeah. Now, how long after you started did you feel like you were ready for the UFC? Like how many fights was it before you thought, okay, now I'm ready to take that next step?
Um, you never know. Like, you don't know. You can assume, but for me, it was just I was just focused on getting better. I was focused on being complete, being comfortable everywhere. And once I started doing that and then started doing it at a high level, I was good to go. Some other things that from life had got in the way. I took time off. I had other children. I had to get a job, things like that, and it just wasn't the right time. But whenever I was tired of that, and I decided, all right, this is what I'm gonna go for. That's what I did, and it all worked out.
So I think, I'm sure you're before now in Fight Night, you're going to tell the story a million times, but can you talk about the night in December last month, Ankalaev and Blachowicz fight for the vacant title, and that you get the call? Because we all expected at the press conference, whenever there's a main event that, Dana doesn't like, especially a title fight, he unloads on the guys and, I don't know what's going to happen. And he's all sour. And that night he walks in and, hey, Jamahal Hill's fighting Glover for the title. And we were all stunned, didn't see that coming. From your standpoint, watching the fight, did you have any inkling? And how long after the fight did you first get a call from somebody with the UFC?
They, I watched the fight. First I thought Magomed was gonna get the nod. Then when it ended in a draw, I was like, oh, me and Smith for the title. Just joking around and things. And then honestly, I think it was like right after Magomed, right after Magomed talked, like he hadn't even left the cage. He was like leaving the cage, and I got the call from my manager.
Wow, that's incredible. So obviously a great opportunity. Now, you were trained, as you mentioned.
They knew where the action was. They if he just got had a boring fight for it. He knew he needed an exciting fight for the title. You know where to call. Y'all know where the action is. Y'all know where to show.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you're one of the most fun fighters to watch in that division in all the UFC. So, which is why I'm really looking forward to this card. You and Brandon Moreno at the top. I know that's going to be a fun show. But you're fighting Glover Teixeira, who also is that kind of fighter. And his fight with Yuri Prohaska, I think, was the best fight of 2022. I mean, an incredible battle that they had. What do you think of Glover as an opponent? And I know you respect him, but what are the things that you have to be careful of going against a guy like that?
I think he's an OG, man. He's dangerous. He's got good hands. Um, he's got really good strike ground game. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got good wrestling. He's formidable everywhere. He can give you problems and give you fits everywhere. And that's what I like to test myself against. And he's been at the top of the game for a while, but I just think it's my time.
One of the things I think is interesting, you alluded to Anthony Smith before. You were going to fight him in March. Now he helped train with you. He was your training partner for this. Could he give he fought Glover in a fight? Anthony, I think, is one of the really smart minds in MMA. He's a great announcer. I think he has a tremendous future as a broadcaster. Could he give you any insights into what Glover does well and little tips that you are going to be able to use in this fight?
Yeah, 100%. He came in, he shared his experience, he shared what he fought, what he felt, some things about Glover that surprised him, some things that he felt like, all right, maybe a little clean. He gave a really good description and an account for what he dealt with whenever he faced Glover Teixeira.
Sure. How awkward was it at first, by the way, when you started to train together? You're training for each other to fight each other, and then he's in the camp. Was that awkward at all?
No, no, it wasn't awkward at all.
Easy enough to get through. Okay.
No.
Well,
I'm an arrogant dude, man. I'm actually humble, especially when it comes to my training and it comes to learning in my craft. I understand you can learn from everywhere. I called him because I knew he had knowledge that I wanted.
Right.
And yeah, there was no need for me to feel weird about that.
Before we wrap up, I want to ask you one other question. Being from Grand Rapids, I mean, all the great fighters that have come out of Grand Rapids, mostly boxers, but Peter Quillen, of course, and then you go Sugar Ray Robinson, the greatest of all time, Floyd Mayweather, and now here you are setting a standard. What is it about that area of the world that's producing so many amazing fighters?
it's a place. It's Grand Rapids isn't that big, you know, and it's just a hunger, you know, just a hunger for one more, one to do better. You know, we got a lot of factories here, so a lot of people work just factory jobs, just humble workers, you know, and some of us we just have a vision for more. We just hungry for more.
Do you see, when you see the success that Mayweather had, you know, he's making 9-figure paychecks, right? You know, I saw him when he fought Pacquiao the night. He walked over to me after the fight was over and he pulled out of his jacket a check and he holds it up and it's a check for, I saw it, $100 million. I looked at it like, where do you cash a check like that? But when you see success like that from people who come from a background like you do and who were, you know, lived and grew up where you grew up, does that fuel your belief in yourself and your ability to do this?
Well, I believe in myself always, you know, but it shows what's possible. You know, Floyd definitely laid laid out a vision and a blueprint for a lot of guys, not just coming out of here, but coming out of a lot of places. Look at Tank
Right.
Davis, you know. So yeah, it definitely just showed. They opened the door and showed what was possible. You know, just with that work and things like that, and all you got to do is just work and walk through
Lastly,
that.
let's wrap with this then. You know, just I want to get your take on how you win the fight. Like, how do you see it going down? What is going to be your, you know, your success? And as the champion, what kind of, I mean, are you going to be the guy, hey, I want to fight everybody, let's go, and we're out there? I mean, are you going to be the one that takes on all comers? Are you going to be that guy?
You kind of tied in both questions a little too much right there. What was the first question?
So the first question is, how do you see the fight ending? How do you win this fight? And then the second question, just sort of, you know, about, you know, you're a guy that I know loves competition. So I'm assuming you're going to be the one, hey, I want the best fighter there is every time out.
Yeah, I plan on winning this fight dominantly. Just that's how I anticipate. You know, I don't try to narrow it down to, oh, I need to knock him out or I need to submit him or I need to grind him out. I just plan on being dominant. Everything he throws, I plan on answering it and asserting myself and putting it on him like he's like he hasn't had it before.
Very interesting. Well, we wish you good luck. January 21st on pay-per-view from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Jamahal Hill challenging for the UFC light heavyweight title. Wish you the best, Jamal. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you, brother.
Did you have me?